Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the FPL Scope and my team selection video for Game Week 25. And first and foremost, I just want to apologize for being a bit inconsistent when it comes to content lately. I'm just back into full-time work again after being out injured because of my broken arm since New Year's, and that has basically made sure that I haven't had too much time or energy basically to make videos lately because I'm still struggling a bit when it comes to sleep. My arm or slash shoulder is a bit sore whenever I sleep, so yeah, I haven't really had enough energy to make content as much as I'd like lately. And on top of that, GW24, which was a really long game week, was also not the best game week, to say the least. Yes, I got 99 points, which is usually a super good score for a game week, but considering I got 58 of those points from Salah as my captain, and I didn't triple captain him, I didn't use assistant manager chip, and my team was kind of lackluster in general. This was a pretty bad game week. As you can see from my game week rank, or my current rank, it's 285k. So I dropped around 140k places. So just about double my rank this game week. So yeah, Game Week 24 was not the best for me. I hope Game 25 honors is going to be good. But yeah, let's just go through the video where there's a lot to talk about. First, Game Week 24 and what happened in that game week. Then we're also going to look at my free hit draft for Game Week 24. Also going to take a look at the Manager of the Week from the FPL Mini League this week before we look into the Manager of the Week for next week, how they are doing for next week and beyond that as well. Then we're going to take a look at the free hit for Game 25, and then we're going to look at my own team as well for Game 25. So a lot of things to get through. So let's just go and start with Game 24. Starting in goal, 0 points from Sanchez, 0 points from Fabianski. I didn't have a goalkeeper this game week, and I sort of expected that to be the case. That's why I kind of wish, or like I should have really had the foresight to just do a goalkeeper transfer. I didn't have enough money in the bank to do anything like good when it comes to goalkeeper. I could have had like Arrizabalaga against Liverpool, which wouldn't have been the best. He got like 1 point. But what I could have done was downgrade Ismail Assar to Dango Ouattara, which is something that I'm, spoilers, looking to do anyways now this game week. And then upgraded Sanchez to someone like Pickford, for example, who got 10 points. So I could have had 10 extra points from that move alone, which would have been 109 points. And then obviously using either the assistant manager chip on Moyes or using the triple captaincy chip on Salah would have given me a lot of points as well. 29 points for Salah with 23 or something from Moyes, 26 even from the two matches from Moyes. So yeah, a lot of missed points there in general, and that's partly why my game week was so bad. The reason that I didn't triple captain Salah was the fact that I thought that his game week 25 fixtures were looking better than his game week 24 fixtures. And in hindsight, obviously with the 58 points Salah got as my captain, he would have been 87 points as my triple captain. 29 points is what he got in total, just as a normal player. In hindsight, that looks really bad, the decision to not triple captain him, because obviously I would have had a lot of points. It's going to be really tough to beat that score of 29 points. Even in a double game week this coming game week. But at the same time, looking at the chances that Salah had and like the fixtures that he had, Liverpool struggled against both Bournemouth and Everton to score, but Salah just is inevitable. Obviously, the game weeks when I had him and captained him the last few game weeks, he didn't do that well. So Salah, who's always been so good to me, has sort of been a bit of a troll for me this season because he's been doing really, really well when I haven't captained him, and then or haven't triple captained him. But then when I have captained him, or potentially next week when I'm trying to triple captain him, he hasn't performed as well. So yeah, a bit annoyed with Salah this season in general, but yeah, looking back at it, don't really regret the decision not to triple captain, but in terms of points, I really do, because 29 points is going to be really tough to make up with the triple captaincy chip later on in Gaming 25 for me as well. That's another spoiler for my Gaming 25 plans. But yeah, Salah 58 points as my captain. The rest of my team, not so much. Gakpo got an assist in the first game, 7 points in total from a double game week. Not the best, especially considering the likes of Wood and Mateta did really, really well. Players that I've considered, but I had Gakpo and Cunha instead. Cunha got 7 points. At least he got something. I was happy to see him score and get some points. Mikolenko got the clean sheet from the first game. 7 points in total for him over a double game week. Trent also got the clean sheet from the first game. 7 points from him in a double game week. Could have been better. Obviously, the fact that he's injured, or that he got injured, is a bit of a downer. And then the rest of the team was just trash, basically. Gabriel in defense, I did start him because, yeah, I just don't really like not starting Gabriel. They beat Man City 5-1, but that was just 2 points for Gabriel. So sadly, he got 2 points. And meanwhile, my Munoz on my bench, who I didn't really like benching, got 11 points as well, which would have been really nice and helpful in this game week. So yeah, all in all, just a really crappy game week. But at the same time, I haven't used any chips left, so or I haven't used any chips yet. So I am still in a pretty good position when it comes to future points potentially, and also 0 transfers made. And I now have 3 free transfers for next game week. So there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunities going on later on in the season now. But yeah, basically the last like 10, 12 game weeks haven't been the best now for me, especially with these last ones now where I've gone down to 285k. I'm around where I was around game week 13. So yeah, this part of the season is usually one of my worst in FPL. I usually do pretty badly in this like loading up to the double game weeks type of area in the season. So hopefully I can push on and do better later on. And I do have the chips to do it and the transfers to do it as well. And I'm pretty happy with my team overall. Just a couple of things that I need to change. Pretty happy with my current tactics for the future as well, which we'll get into more later on as we go along. So yeah, just have to look forward and hope that I get better game weeks ahead, because this was not the best game week for me in general, and it lasted so long as well. I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad that I'm pretty soon going to go into Game 25, so that's going to be fun to see. But we have a couple more things to get through before we get to Game 25, and that's the free hit score for Game 24, the team that I put out that I thought was going to be the best team for Game 24. Without any other chips used, obviously no assistant manager or triple captaincy chip used when you use a free hit. So yeah, that has to be taken into account. And then we're going to take a look at the manager of the week as well and see how they did, like the best manager this week, how they did comparatively. So yeah, let's go into the free hit draft for Game 24. Basically very similar to my own team, just that I have Pickford for the 10 points that I did mention. I should have brought him in. And also I had NDI rather than Cunha, so I also got some more extra points. But yeah, another thing here is another huge bench score with Gibbs White getting 16 points on the bench. Did not really see that 7-0 win for Nottingham Forest coming at all. And Gibbs White did really well. But at least I had him, or I did see it sort of coming, because I had two Nottingham Forest players on the bench. Nottingham Forest are really good, Brighton are really bad, so not the biggest surprise, but yeah, I did bench them, so I wish I had started them as well, especially seeing as Hall and Mbeumo or Rogers are there stinking up the joint as well. NDI, I think, was really unlucky to only get 9 points. He was really good in the first game, was really involved, and then in the second game he got injured, so could have had a lot more, I think, NDI, but at least he got that last goal, like that late goal in the first game, to helping get 9 points, which was nice to see. But yeah, overall the team is pretty similar to the team that I had myself. And Mbeumo Wissa didn't really do much in their game, sadly for them. Was expecting more from those two guys, but yeah, didn't really do too well. So yeah, not too much to say about the free hit team basically. Just loaded up on triple double game week players in Pickford, Mikolenko, and Ndiaye from Everton, and then Trent, Salah, and Gakpo from Liverpool. Beto was the main guy for Everton up front. I did not really foresee that at all, but I didn't really expect him to start both games, and especially not score as many goals as he did. Scoring against Liverpool was super surprising, and the 2 goals in the first match against Leicester was also fantastic. So Everton looking really, really good now under David Moyes. I should have sort of known as well. Beto is like a typical David Moyes striker, so it makes sense that he's playing well for Moyes. But that was really surprising to see. So yeah, well done to anyone that picked up Beto, whether that was on a free hit or in a regular team. But yeah, NDI 9 points. Kind of unlucky not to get more, basically. But yeah, that's how the free hit draft went. 110 points. The free hit overall rank is around 79k, which is a lot better than my own rank now currently. It's 1,626 points in total. So it's a bit better than my own rank, but at the same time, I can use chips with my own team, but I can't use chips in the free hit draft score, because obviously you use the free hit, so you don't really have any other chips to use, basically. So yeah, that explains the points total and the overall rank for the free hit draft as well this season. Because yeah, I have done this since Game Week 1, all the way from Game Week 1 through Game Week 24. I've done a free hit draft every single week, and that's what I intend to do as well for Game Week 25. We'll get to see that after I go through the manager of the week for this past game week as well, which we're going to do right now. So yeah, this is what you could have done this game week. 155 points from Georgia Thomas in the FPL Scope Mini League. He has the highest score this game week with 155, like I mentioned. Using the triple captaincy chip, obviously. Salah with 87 massive points as the triple captain. Absolutely amazing, and that drives home most of the points for this team. Also Mateta and Wood up front. Mateta with 13 points, Wood with 17 points. Munoz on the bench here as well with 11 points. The same backline basically that I have, except Anderson rather than Castagna on the final bench spot. But yeah, 155 points. The Salah triple captaincy points. Yeah, the 2 strikers that I mentioned. Other than that, not really too much. Becker, Allison in goal with 10 points. Trent and Mikolenko with 7 points each in the defense. Gordon and Kulusevski, kind of strange pairing there. 1 point from Gordon, 3 points from Kulusevski. Didn't really help much. Isak with the 2 points as well. Kind of a lackluster game week from Newcastle in general, playing against Fulham, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since the game week actually passed. But yeah, all in all, fantastic game week. This is also the first chip used, apart from the wildcard, in the first half of the season. So still have every single chip left. What's also interesting to see is this team has a lot of players that are blanking in game week 29. Double Newcastle, double Crystal Palace, triple Liverpool. So that's a lot of players that are not going to play, and also the goalkeepers aren't going to play. Allison or Valdemar Son are not going to play in game week 29 either. So this looks like a proper free hit 29 team. So I think this tactic is pretty clear going forward, but we'll look more into that when we talk about game week 25 onwards, which is what we're going to look at now. But or after I go through the manager with going through the current rank and stuff for the manager. You can tell that I haven't made a video in a long time because I'm a bit all over the place. But yeah, 161k overall, basically overtook my place in the rankings because of the triple captaincy chip and fantastic strikers in Mateta and Wood, who have been absolutely amazing lately. So yeah, looking like a really good season so far for Georgia Tomas. Could easily beat your best rank from 2021-2022 season, which was 47k. Last season rank was about 230k, so there's a lot of good reasons to be excited for this season because it's looking like a better season overall. And a great use of the first chip of the second half of the season with the triple captaincy chip. So congrats on the game week, the transfer as well, just like a future transfer. And so to Kluivert, I think that makes a lot of sense for the future. I think you could have saved it and waited one more week, but it doesn't really matter anyway because you probably were looking at Kluivert as a transfer next week anyway, so you probably save some money doing that as well. So yeah, all in all, looking really, really good for especially this game week, but also beyond as well. I think the team is looking pretty solid. It's pretty similar to my team, just the superior strikers basically, and Kluivert already in place. So yeah, and you also have a playing goalkeeper, which is also nice to have basically. So yeah, it's looking good, I think, for future game weeks. But speaking of future game weeks for Giorgio Tomas, let's look at game week 25. Only one free transfer though, and 0.1 in the bank, so not much flexibility here. But I think the transfer you can do to open up some more money and also have a double game week player is Kulusevski to Rodgers. Kulusevski doesn't really move me that much when it comes to FPL. And I think Rodgers is the safest bet from Aston Villa now, especially considering Watkins is having some injury issues. Aston Villa are not playing in the current round of the Champions League, so they are getting a lot of rest as well. So if City at home, Liverpool at home, I think that's a really good double game week for Aston Villa, and I think Rodgers could be really, really good this game week. But the one downside to doing the Kulusevski to Rodgers move this game week is the fact that you have to bench someone pretty good, because obviously people would look at Gordon and Isak to double up for Newcastle against Man City away as not being a good fixture, but I think Man City are just terrible defensively, and I think Newcastle could easily score 3 or 4 goals in that game. So I'm personally pretty high on both Gordon and Isak, assuming both are fit and ready to start. I think that could be a good game week for them. So I don't think I would bench Gordon. So that means you have to bench someone else if you're bringing Rodgers. And that someone else would probably, for me, have to be Wood, potentially. Wood or Mateta, I think. But both of those guys have been so good. I think it's kind of like, it would kind of be dumb to bench a Nottingham Forest guy after them winning 7-0 this past game week. So maybe I would have to lean towards Mateta. Maybe you could even, I don't know. You could do Gordon, especially if Gordon is injured. That is the easiest thing to do. Just start Rodgers over Gordon. You could also just bench Gordon even if he is fit to play, because, yeah, it is Man City after all. They are, or have been at least, a good team. And they could also dominate the game and just not let Newcastle get too many chances. So you could bench Gordon, but I think probably I would lean towards benching Wood because he's playing Fulham away, which is a really tough match. Wood has been really consistent this season, but the hole that he had last time around with a hat-trick, it's not really what you were used to seeing with Wood. So I think benching him for Rodgers would probably be my play if I do that transfer. So yeah, interesting to see if you want to do that transfer or not. Rodgers, not too many people, or like not everyone is sold on Rodgers, but I think he's a really good player to have this game week. And I think it would be nice to have another double game week player for Game Week 25 basically. But yeah, one free transfer, 0.1 in the bank. I think you need to just save up the transfers now as well, because you are going to need them eventually this season. It looks like I said, that Game Week 29 is going to be a free hit for you. You don't have a goalkeeper for Game Week 29. You have also double Liverpool in the outfield players, double Palace, double Newcastle. They are all going to blank, and if you bring in Rodgers as well, that's another player that is going to blank in Game Week 29. So free hit 29 looks like the easy pick here. So I think you should save up your transfers now leading up to Game Week 29. Then you have as much flexibility as possible from Game Week 30 onwards, where you can bring in players that play in Game Week 30 for or double in game week 33, or both potentially if you get teams that both double in 33 and play in 34, which would be ideal, obviously. So yeah, I think that's the plan going forward. I think the team is looking pretty good. It's pretty set up for that free hits game week 29 thing, and I think that's actually a good thing, because I think game week 29 is going to be really nice for the teams that are not really that popular going into that game week. You also have Wood, obviously, who would play in that game week, who you could have if you want to not free hit in 29, but I think it's better to use the free hit chip in game week 29 and save the wildcard for later in the season, basically. But still, we're looking to get more information when it comes to the game weeks after that. We don't really have too much information when it comes to game week 30 onwards. So yeah, free hit 29 I think is the best way forward. I think I would bring in Rodgers this week for Kulusevski, and I think I would bench Wood, basically either him or Gordon, depending on Gordon's injury as well. If there's any inclination that Gordon's going to be hampered a bit, or he's going to be subbed off early because of his injury, then obviously just bench him. But I think Man City away is still a really good fixture for especially Newcastle, a really good team. So I would probably look to start Gordon over Wood if I were to choose. But yeah, those are my thoughts on your team currently. It's going to be a lot of chip strategy going forward, obviously, as well, but you need to just pay attention to the videos here on this channel, I guess, to see what's best suited for you, because I'm probably going to do the same. I'm probably going to free hit in game week 29 and then take a decision on what to do for game week 30, 33, and 34, basically, and beyond that as well. So, yeah. But all in all, happy to talk about the Manager of the Week, as always, and if you want to be in the Manager of the Week, you guys watching right now, you can join the FPL Score Mini League with the league code hpxeri. And if you get the highest score in one particular game week, you'll get featured on a video, just like Giorgio Tomas just was right now. So with the Manager of the Week out of the way, let's take a look at what I think is the ideal team to have in Game Week 25 specifically. And I'll do that by using the free hit drafts that I do every single game week. So let's look at the Game Week 25 free hit draft, basically. So in goal, we have Emi Martinez for Aston Villa. I think he is the safest defensive player to have from Aston Villa, and I think Ipswich at home is a pretty good fixture for a clean sheet, potentially. Liverpool at home, basically just a bonus fixture. It's like 1 or 2 points at least extra, like we saw with Mikolenko and Pickford this past game week. Not really expecting much from that Liverpool game, but I think just the double game week is nice to have the triple up on Aston Villa, and I think Rodgers and Watkins are the best players. But then apart from that, I think there's not too many options. But yeah. So Martinez is in goal. In defense, I think Trent is still the best option, but the injury issues, you have to basically pay attention to that. But it's easy to just swap him to Konate, which would also free up money to go from Wissa to Isak potentially as well if you do that. So maybe you want to go with Konate instead of Trent if you're not feeling too happy about the injury potential or like not starting there for Trent. But he did play 30 minutes against Everton. I think it's pretty likely that he's going to play both games. So I think he's still the best player to have in defense currently for this game week. He's my favorite pick to have in game 25 in defense. So I would stick with Trent, but if you get some more injury news that he's going to be out, most likely, especially for that first game against Wolves, then definitely you can go with Konate instead, or Van Dijk even if you want to go with someone even safer and less injury prone than Konate. Gabriel against Leicester, I think that's a great game for him and for Arsenal. I think they're going to do really well in that game. And Gabriel is obviously one of my favorite players in FPL, so I think he's a really good pick. And then finally, Milos Kerkez, who's someone that I really wish I had in my own team as well. I wish I had him for the longest time now. But it's going to be a bit difficult for me to get him, probably. So yeah, pretty envious on people having Kerkez, especially for this game week against Southampton, because I think he's going to do really, really well this game week. In midfield, Salah, obviously, the easy captaincy choice ever, like every single time. The best player ever as well, Salah. Not really too much to say about that. Just captain him, triple captain him if you can as well, just like I'm going to do. So yeah, I think Salah is amazing. He's in fantastic form. The fixtures are really good, especially the Wolves fixture is really, really nice. So yeah, Salah's looking really good this game week. Palmer against Brighton. He scored 4 goals and a half against Brighton last time around. We just saw Brighton concede 7 goals against Nottingham Forest. So I think it makes all the sense in the world to have Palmer for this game as well. Could potentially also get Nkunku as well, because now Nicholas Jackson's going to be out injured for a while. So I think Nkunku is actually a really sneaky pick. You could pick Nkunku rather than Nwaneri and bench Wissa and start both Nkunku and Palmer. I think that's actually the better pick, the better thing to do. But I sort of made this free draft before all the recent news with both Havertz and Nicholas Jackson. Originally, I was going to have Havertz in the striker position there, but I had to make some quick changes after seeing that. So yeah, I think another potential thing to do, like I mentioned, Nkunku in for Nwaneri. and play him rather than having Wissa from start here, basically. But yeah, Cloyford from Bournemouth. It's a bit of a decision to go between Cloyford and Dango. I think if you have unlimited money, I think Cloyford is better. You do save some money from going Dango instead, so that's why I prefer him in like a team, like long-term context. But Cloyford with the penalty taking as well, especially, and also more secure minutes, is just a better pick for, especially for like a single game week where money isn't really an issue. So I think Cloyford against Southampton could be really good. He scored 2 hat-tricks so far this season. Maybe the 3rd hat-trick of the season will come in this game. We know how bad Southampton are, so I think that's a really good game for him. And then finally, Rodgers with the double game week, like I mentioned for the manager of the week. I think he has really good fixtures with Ipswich and Liverpool. I could see him score in both games as well, because Rodgers is that type of guy who can score against anyone. So yeah, I think he's really, really good. And obviously Watkins, injury issues notwithstanding, we don't really know if he's going to be fit to play or not. It's looking decent at least, but I kind of wish that the first game was Liverpool and the second game was Ipswich when it comes to his injury issues, because I think the Ipswich match he could be a bit hampered by that and potentially play like less minutes as a result of that. But then he's probably going to play 90 minutes in the second game, which is against Liverpool, which is a tougher game. We've also seen Liverpool concede quite a few goals, so that could also be decent for Watkins. But yeah, I think he just has the best upside this game week for a striker, so I prefer him up front. Maybe like highest upside, I say, but potentially that could be Gakpo, but he's also sort of struggling a bit now this past game week. So yeah, we'll see. But Gakpo is also in the team, obviously. Was really good not too long ago, got 17 points. A bit of a downer for the double game week, only getting 1 assist. But yeah, Gakpo has been really good this season, and I think he's still going to start, assuming he's healthy to play. So yeah, he also makes it into the team. And then you always start playing against West Ham. He always scores against West Ham. I know this as a West Ham fan, so I think he's also a pretty easy choice up front. But like I said, you could easily bench him and start Nkunku instead if you want to go with something different with a 5-man midfield instead, basically. When it comes to the rest of the team, or the bench, I should say, Kepa Arrizabalaga, I think he's a really good option this week for a single game week player. If you don't really like Martinez for that Liverpool game, especially for just having that extra, you don't really think that's worth it, then I think Arrizabalaga is a really good pick as well. You could also obviously double up with Bournemouth midfielders. That's also something you can do rather than having Wissa. If you don't have enough money to go for Nkunku, you could go for someone like Dango Ouattara or for Semenyo instead and start them over Wissa instead. But I think Wissa is going to be really good this game week as well, because he plays West Ham, which is something that he usually does really well against. So yeah, don't mind that. One area as well, he's going to have to play for Arsenal, and I think one area is also going to be really good. I've talked about him a couple times the past few game weeks as well. Really cheap. He's going to play in a really attacking position for Arsenal, who are looking really good currently with the 5-1 against Man City especially. But after that, they've struggled a bit with the Newcastle result, for example. But I think one area could be a really good, nice punt going forward as well. He's someone that I am considering as well for my own team. So he should definitely be in consideration for Game 25 if you want to have someone really cheap to have in your team for the next few game weeks where Saka's going to be out, Havertz is out for the rest of the season, Martinelli seems to be out injured as well, so one area is most likely going to play at least this game, and we'll see what happens with him in the future. But I think he has such a bright future for Arsenal. I think he's going to be like one of the best picks to have next season, and it's nice to get a taste of what he can do this season as well, especially with a fixture like Leicester, where he's going to play most likely going to get a pretty good chance to score some goals as well. So I really like him as an option. Just have him on the bench here, just because I'm not quite sure about him in Arsenal just yet, or him in Arsenal just yet. So yeah, he's on the bench. And also double up with Palace players on the bench, but seeing how good Everton have looked lately, I don't think that's really like the best play anymore. But both Chilwell and Munoz probably going to be really attacking players. So yeah, I think those guys are really good options as well for this game week in Game 25, basically. So yeah, all in all, pretty strong team. 3 double game week players from Aston Villa, 3 double game week players from Liverpool. Let's see how it does in Game 25 once we're done with this game week. But yeah, that's the free draft for Game 25. And then finally, we get to my own plans for this game week. And there are quite a few plans. The one definite thing that I'm going to do is triple captain Salah. Not going to wait any longer. This is the only triple captaincy or the only double game week chance we have with Salah for the rest of the season, most likely. And some pretty good fixtures. Salah in terrific form, like he showed this past game week. If he gets like 3 or 4 chances compared to like 1 or 2 chances per game he had this past game week, he could have a monster score. But yeah, don't really expect him to be as clinical as he was in the past 2 games against Bournemouth and Everton, but he could get more chances to make up for it as well. So yeah, triple captain Salah is a given. Vice captaincy on Rodgers, who's also a really good player to have for both those games against Ipswich and Liverpool. When it comes to the rest of the team, Sanchez in goal, he has to be replaced. That's what I'm looking to do. Ismail Assar to Dango will give me enough money to upgrade something there in general. So yeah, I'm going to do that transfer for sure. Or I already made that transfer basically because I have him in the starting lineup. I just realized now. But yeah, that's pretty much a given. I'm going to get in Dango. I'm going to start him against Southampton. And I'm going to sell Sar, and I will give him enough money to upgrade Sanchez to either Martinez if I want to go for the double game week player, or if I want to be a bit more safe and I want to go with Erzabalaga, I could do that as well. That also covers me a bit for Game Week 29 in case I change my mind, in case it looks really difficult to navigate Game Week 34 without a free hit chip. Then maybe I want to do free hit 34 instead, or maybe free hit in Game Week 33 as a double game week could be the better option as well. So Sanchez to Erzabalaga gives me more safety down the line, but Martinez gives me a double game week player in Game 25, which is also kind of tempting, and also going a bit with a different player from Aston Villa player in Martinez instead. But yeah, currently I'm probably looking at Erzabalaga as my goalkeeper replacement for Sanchez, but what I do know is that I need a new goalkeeper because Sanchez is just awful, and now we basically got the confirmation that Maresca said that Jurgensen is now the starting goalkeeper for Chelsea. So finally going to get rid of the nightmare that is Sanchez, who's been plaguing me all season. Really should have gone with Sells in Game Week 6, like I really wanted to do as well. I picked Sanchez just because of I wanted to have him in the when I did my wildcard in Game Week 6 basically. I had him in because he went up in price, or was going to go up in price the day after I did the wildcard. So I had him as a placeholder for value's sake, and then I ended up sticking with him as my goalkeeper rather than going with Sells, who's been getting 50 points more than Sanchez since that time. So yeah, one of the biggest mistakes this season, and I'm finally going to rectify that by selling Sanchez. Waste man, get out of my team. I'm done with him, finally. Trent in defense, looking really nice, especially if he's starting both games, and I think he's going to start both games, especially the 30 minutes he got this past game week as well against Everton. I think this is really encouraging for the next game weeks or the next fixtures coming up. So he's going to start. Gabriel, like I mentioned in the free hit team, he's going to be amazing against Leicester. Munoz against Everton, I do think they will concede in that game, but Palace have been really good defensively, and Munoz has just been in terrific form lately. So he's a really nice player to have starting this game week for me, I think. Solid triple captaincy, already mentioned already. Palmer I did mention for the free draft. Brighton is a really nice fixture, considering he scored 4 goals against them in a half last time, and they just got pumped 7-0 by Nottingham Forest. So Palmer I'm really happy with. And Mbeumo against West Ham, wasn't really too happy with what I saw from Mbeumo last game week. He is a bit of a frustrating player to have, has been at least, or yeah, I had him. He didn't really do that well. Sold him, he did really well, and now I bought him back again. He did get a penalty goal the first game week that I brought him back, but this past game week, when he had a really favorable fixture, he only got 2 points. So it didn't really look too good either in that game. But West Ham, usually a pretty good game for Brentford players, so I think he could do pretty well there in Mbeumo. Rodgers, fantastic. Talked about him a couple times already. And then Dango Ouattara, who's going to be fantastic for Bournemouth. I think he's a really good player to have. Also a huge fan of Dango in general. I think he's just a really fun player to watch. He's really up and down. I kind of like those players who are all or nothing. He could get a hat-trick. He could get 0 goals. Who knows? A really entertaining player to watch. Hopefully it's not going to be as frustrating as a FPL pick, but it also gives me money in the bank to get Martinez potentially save that money for the future when I might need it for assistant manager or something like that down the line. So pretty excited to get Dango Ouattara, to watch him play. Bournemouth are in terrific form. They play Southampton, which is a terrific game. So yeah, really excited to see Dango Ouattara in my squad in general. And selling Ismail Assar, one of my other huge mistakes this season, getting Assar, who's been, just not that good for me. Up front, Isak against Man City. No qualms about starting him whatsoever. I think Man City are there for the taking, and Isak is absolutely fantastic. So I think he's going to be really good this game week. And then we have Gakpo as the final striker, who I think is also going to be good, assuming he's healthy to play. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But yeah, Wolves at home, Aston Villa away, looking really nice for Gakpo, and I'm excited to see what he can do in those fixtures, basically. On the bench, Fabianski, who doesn't play anymore, as my backup goalkeeper, so I don't really have a goalkeeper in my squad until I sell Sanchez. He's going to have to get sold at some point as well, Fabianski, but for now, he's just a cheap backup goalkeeper, so who cares really? Castani against Nottingham Forest, I think that's decent, but Nottingham Forest just scored 7 goals, so yeah, probably going to bench him. Mikolenko against Crystal Palace as well. Tough-ish fixture. Palace have been looking really good lately. And Cunha against Liverpool, I'm going to bench him as well, but I could put him higher up in the bench rotation as well instead, because he could potentially score goals, because we've seen Liverpool concede in the past. So yeah, Cunha, someone that I'm stacking for the future. Been a bit of a letdown for me keeping him as well, rather than going for the likes of Wood and Mateta, but here I am. He's going to be a really a lot of people are going to want to get Cunha pretty soon, so I'm pretty happy to have him in my squad at least now, but I wish I had sold him, especially way back when, everyone got Wood, and I didn't, sadly. I really wish I had Wood back then, but anyways, Cunha is going to be good for the future, but that's pretty much it for my team. I could do some more transfers. I could like double up, get some extra players. There's a lot of people talking about Isak to Watkins. And I think especially with the potential like injury issues or like fitness issues for Watkins, I don't think that's a good move. And I think Isak's going to be someone that you want back in your team pretty soon as well. And I think this Man City game is really good for him. So I personally don't like that move. I should probably just keep Isak. It is a double game week for Aston Villa, but it is Liverpool as well, so I don't really think it's the best fixture either. So I do obviously like Watkins. He's in my free hit draft. But I think Isak is going to be the better play for the long-term future of your team, basically. So yeah, pretty happy to keep Isak, especially seeing as I'm looking to free hitting him into 29 anyway. So yeah, I think you should keep Isak unless like you have like a team that's ready to not free hit into 29. Then maybe you could sell him and bring him back for game week 30 onwards. But yeah, I think Isak is fantastic. I just wouldn't sell him, especially when Watkins has struggled a bit with fitness, and they also have Liverpool in that double game week, which is going to be a tough thing to do something about. So I think that's probably going to be it. I'm going to do Sarr to Dango and Sanchez to either Martinez or Rizabalaga. And I think those are the 2 transfers that I'll use, and I'll have 2 free transfers from game week 26 onwards as well that I'm going to use eventually this season. But yeah, hoping to claw back some of the rank that I've lost lately, especially this past game week. Hoping to do better both in terms of FPL and in terms of content creation. Hope to do better when it comes to sleep and my fitness as well. Still getting back into full health after breaking my arm right before New Year's. So I hope you've been patient with me and also patient with me throughout this video where I've been a bit of a bumbling mess, but that's usually how it is after I've been gone for a long time from making videos. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Looking forward to see you next time. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, that would help me with the algorithm. Comment down below if you have any questions, anything you want to share, anything you want to know, any like tips you want from me or anything like that. Even criticism, I'm happy to get that as well. So please comment down below if you have anything to say. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you later, and I probably will. So thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you next time.